So in last class, we discussed about hybrid framework parameterization concept we had discussed. Okay. So in today's class, hybrid framework part 3, we are going to discuss. Okay. So how to fetch input data from an Excel. Okay, that concept we can discuss. Okay. So let's go to that. So this is Orange HRM 116. So this project folder is already available here. So what I am doing is I am renaming this folder. Okay. So I copied and pasted and I am renaming this folder. Orange HRM 117. Okay. Right. So what are the changes I need to do? In the pom.xml, I have to change project name, group ID, artifact ID. So group ID 117, artifact ID 117, and project name. Okay, I'm saving. Okay, let's go and import this project. Right click, click on import Maven, existing Maven projects. So under D drive. So under D drive, I'm having Orange HRM 17 folder. So pom.xml selected, and I'm clicking on finish. So this is the Orange HRM 117 folder has been imported. Okay. So what is the first point once after importing? Update pom.xml. Okay, let's update the pom.xml. So opening and I'm pressing enter and I'm saving. See here, process is completed and verify Maven dependencies are available or not. Yes, it's available. We can run our Selenium programs. Okay, what is the second point? JRE version, we have to change it back to 1.8. Okay, select JRE 1.7, build path, configure build path, and select this one and click on edit, and I'm changing to 1.8. Okay, right. So JRE point also it's changed to 1.8. And in the last class, we had discussed in hybrid framework how to develop the page class file we had discussed. So login page. Login page contains login page related methods, and skills page contains skills page related methods and corresponding parameterizations, and TC01 add skills. So this is what we had discussed. Okay. So now let's continue the next part. So hybrid framework means it is a combination of pages and test cases. So if pages and test cases, that concept we can call it as a page object model design pattern. So today's class, I'm going to add how to implement hybrid framework. So hybrid framework means mixing of more than one framework. Okay. So now what I am doing is I'm going back to any existing project folder. So going to src test Java, and here there is a Excel util class file is there. Okay. So what I am doing is, so I'm taking copy, right click and doing copy. Okay. Right clicking and doing copy. Under src test Java, I'm doing right click and I'm pasting. So this is the Excel util class file had been imported. Okay, right. Now I am coming back to the main test case. So here under Excel util package, there is a Java class files, Excel API test 3 and API test 4. Okay. So these are the util class methods. These are the Java class files which are developed by myself. Okay. So what I am doing is in this TC01 add skills, I want to import Excel util Excel API test 4. This is the Java class file I want to import. So how to access that one? Import. What is the package name? Excel util. So that is the package name dot, and what is the class name? Excel API test 4. So after pressing dot, automatically it will show like this. So I'm selecting Excel API test 4. So I had imported this class file. Okay. So to access the methods of a particular class, to access the methods of this class file, I have to create an object. Excel API test4.java class file. I want to access the methods. So what I need to do here in the main test, So Excel API test 4, I'm creating an object. E1 is equal to, by using new keyword, we can create an object. Okay, got the point? Right. So to call those methods, non-static methods, how to call non-static methods? Object dot method name. So what is the method? What is the object here? E1 dot. Okay, one second. So we know how to call the methods. Okay. So prior to that, let me go to one of the previous class. So there is a concept in core Java. Okay. So there is a concept in core Java. This is a map object. Map means, see, string str is equal to means string test URL is equal to means we are storing single value. Okay. We cannot store multiple values into a variable. Okay. So always string username is equal to admin. Password is equal to admin. So this username and password, we can call it as a variable. So in variables, we can store single values. But if you want to store a group of values, okay, if you want to store a group of values, so this is by using map object, I had created an object named as data table. So this is called core Java concept. So here, this data table object doesn't contain any values at this moment. It doesn't hold any values. So if you want to store a group of values, we can use this data table object. So how to create this data table object means this is the fixed line of code we will write. Map string, hash map of string. So these all keywords are fixed in core Java. Okay. So I have created data table object, but this data table object doesn't contain any values. Okay. So how to load a group of values, I will tell you. So first here, E1 dot. So it contains a method name as get data table. So I'm taking this one, get data table. So E1 dot get data table, and within the double quotations, I haven't given anything. Okay. So E1 dot get data table, add throws declaration, it is showing. Throws exception got added. Okay. So E1 dot get data table, and what I am doing is data table object is equal to a data table object is equal to E1 dot get data table. So the first input argument I am going to provide Excel file path. Okay. So in my system, this is my test data Excel. You are able to see, right? Test data 1.xls. So what I am doing is I'm doing right click and I'm taking properties. So the complete XPath, this one, the complete full path of this Excel file. So I'm taking Control C and I'm pasting here. Okay, test data 1.xlsx. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to open this Excel file. And what is the sheet name here? Sheet 1. So what I'm doing is I'm going to provide the sheet name. Sheet name is sheet 1. S capital sheet 1. Because in the Excel here we are able to see capital S, sheet 1. So whenever these two lines whenever these lines got executed, so E1 dot get data table. So the entire Excel data, okay, the entire Excel data. So what is this Excel data? This one. So all this data, okay, all this data, it will be loaded into this object. Got the point? So all this data, it is loaded into this data table object. Now I want to retrieve each value. So E1 dot, so how I am retrieving, I will tell you. Okay. I build framework to search test Java. See data table dot get of tc01 of username. Okay, so here in this Excel, test case tc01, test case tc02, test case tc03, it contains like that. So tc01 contains username, password, and whatever parameter names that you want to retrieve. Okay, so you can specify tc01 username if you want to retrieve. So tc01 contains username as this one, tc01 contains password as this one, tc01 contains skill name as java1, tc01 contains skill description value as this one. Got the point? So what I am doing is I am retrieving the corresponding parameter. So if I want to retrieve password value, so I'm specifying like this. So previously here, all my input data is here in my program itself. It is already available. So what I am doing is I am not assigning any values. So simply the global variables doesn't have any input values. It doesn't contains any input values. Just I declared my global variables. That's it only. So test URL value is there or not in the Excel. So okay, except test URL, all the variable values that I am retrieving by using an Excel file. So username, password, skill name, and skill description. These are the global variables right now. It doesn't contain any information. Okay, so I have created a data table object to retrieve the input values from the Excel. Okay, so I have created an object Excel API test for E1 is equal to E1 dot get data table. So the entire Excel data, so test data 1 dot XLSX. So the entire Excel data, the entire test data 1 dot XLS, entire sheet 1 data, it has been loaded into this object, data table object. So data table object dot tc01 of username, tc01 of password. So what is the parameter name? Password. So I'm going to give password here. One second. So whatever parameter names are there, I'm doing. Okay, and skill name and skill description also I want. So skill name is equal to, and skill description is equal to. So skill name parameter name, what is TC01 skill name parameter? So whatever it is there, just take this one, skill name, Control C, and I'm giving here, and skill description, Control C, and I'm giving here. So right now, once after line number 42, 43, 44, 45 got executed, okay, so the data is retrieving from the Excel. From TC01 input data, it has been loaded into these variables. So prior to execution, these variable values are blank. But after executing line number 42, 43, 44, 45, the data has been loaded from this Excel. So username, skill name contains Java1, and so Java1 description, these values had been loaded into these values. Now you can execute your program. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm saving this program. So let's run this test case now. TC01 add skills run as test test. So that means the global variables values simply I'm fetching from Excel. That is the process only I had explained. See, this time username and password values, it has been retrieved from the Excel. One second. Password parameter had been given wrong. One second. What is the parameter name? Okay, here W is capital. So password Control C, and here W I had written small one. Okay, so I'm replacing. Okay, now let me rerun the program again. Run as. So username and password values had been retrieved, and skill name Java 1 and Java 1 description record has to create. So admin qualifications. So Java 1 and Java 1 description value, it has been retrieved from the Excel and record had been created successfully. Okay, if I want to execute my program with the Java 2 and Java 2 description, so what is the change I will do? I won't touch my program this time. Simply I can go to my Excel, I can change my values here Java 2. Okay, and here I'm changing to Java 2 description and I'm saving. Okay, I'm coming back to here. So let's run this program again. So that means this time Java 2 and Java 2 description values, it can be retrieved from the Excel. So Java 2 description values had been retrieved. So whatever Excel data contains, that Excel data, it is coming into global variables. Okay. So this concept, we can call it as a data driven. Okay. So in the interviews, we have to explain in the interviews. So we can specify the Excel file path and sheet name. Okay, we can specify Excel file path and sheet name. So the entire data, the entire Excel data, it can be loaded into data table object. Okay, data table object dot get of test case ID and parameter names we can specify, and we can retrieve the input values, and we can pass those input values, and we can pass those global variables to the required test methods. So the test methods can execute with the required set of input values. Okay, so this process like that we are following hybrid framework. Guys, please go on mute. Okay, so far in previous classes, the first point is you understood hybrid framework. Hybrid means page object model design pattern. So how you need to explain page object model design pattern? For every web page or entity specific, we will write separate Java class file and corresponding methods implementation we can do. In the main test case development, we are creating object and we are calling required methods as per the test case functional flow. So like that, we had followed page object model design pattern. That is first point. And yes, we are following hybrid framework. Okay, we are in the TestNG class, we are specifying Excel file path and sheet name. And we are getting all the input data of an Excel file and loading into data table object. Data table object dot test case ID dot parameter name, we are retrieving the input values and we are passing those input values to the required test methods so that test methods can execute with the required set of input values. So like that, we are following data driven framework approach. Data driven, data is driving from Excel. Okay, right. So now let's go to the implementation of second approach. So add jobs. Okay, so here add jobs contains username and password. Now what I'm doing is just I am previously I had maintained all my input data in my program. Now I am maintaining all my input data in my Excel. So now the global variables doesn't contain any values here. Okay, so the first point is ready. Second point is I have to create data table object. Okay, let's create data table object. So I'm coming back to here. So here the data table object why I'm creating to retrieve input data from an Excel file. So I had created. Now let's come back to the third point. And I want to retrieve the entire, I want to connect with the Excel and I want to retrieve. Okay, so in the before test, so once my test is started and I want to retrieve all the data. So add throws declaration, throws exception. So it's connected to the required Excel file path and sheet name. So how I got this path? So just right click, properties, and take full X path here. Okay, so it will connect to that Excel and we are retrieving. right? And after that, I want to retrieve which test case ID this time? Job TC02, job title, job description, job node. So I have to retrieve job title, job description, job node. Okay, let's go to that part. So I'm copying these lines, Control C. So here TC02. So let me change it to TC02. So I want to retrieve TC02. And TC02 contains what is the parameter names? Job title. And job description. One second. And job node. So here TC02. What happened? Oh, job title. Okay. Right. So I have to declare job title, job description, job node, global variables. Which program I'm doing modification? I'm doing changes in. No, I should not change it here. I have to change it here. Okay, what is the global variables? This one, the job title, job description, job name. So initially, job title, job description, job node. These values doesn't contain any values. So I'm connecting to this Excel file path, and entire data is available into this data table object, and data table object dot test case ID dot parameter names. Okay, and I'm retrieving, and I'm loading all the data. Okay, job title, job description, job node. So I'm retrieving all the data, and I'm loading all the data into these variables. Okay, right now, okay, let's change what is the Excel record it will create. Sales to record it has to create. So let's go and run TC01 add jobs. So I'm doing right click, run as test engine test. So username, password. So this time it has to create sales one to record. So sales one to record details fetched, and it has been created. Okay. If I want to create one more new record, okay, I can, because values are coming from the Excel. So again, I can change it to sales 13. So this time my global variables values, it can be filled with these values, and I'm saving my Excel. I'm coming to program, run as test engine test. So test case ID and parameter names. Got the point? So the test has been executed successfully. Okay. So like that, we can retrieve the input data and we can execute the programs. So data driven means just you are specifying Excel file path and sheet name, and you are fetching all the data and you are loading into data table object. And after that, whatever test case ID corresponding parameter names you are specifying. Okay. So once after executing these lines of code, data is fetching and loading into your global variables. And those global variables only it has been executed. Okay. So this concept we can call it as a data driven framework. So you can tell me yes, how to do this one. Now, right now I'm getting input data directly in the program. Okay, but in real time, if you go to any of the companies, the input data it will be given in the Excel file, not in the programming part. That's why we are learning this lab. Okay. So, sir, do I need to develop this Excel util package and Excel util class files? It is not at all required. If you join in any of the project, these class files and package names already it will be developed. Just your job is how to get the input data from the Excel and how to pass that input data to the methods. So that's what you need to focus. Okay. Okay. Now tell me what is the first step here? I have to create data table object. Okay. So let me create data table object. First part is done. Okay. Second part. So first part only what I need to do? Import Excel util package name. Excel API test 4. Okay, and I'm saving. Now, okay, after main test, first I need to. So here I'm removing all my input values because I want to fetch input data from the Excel, not from the program. Okay, right, and I saved my global variables. So now, tell me how I need to access data table object dot. Okay, so get the data table. 1 second. Already. Oh, okay. Excel API test 4 class. I have to create object. Okay. Excel API test 4 E1 is equal to new Excel API test 4. Right. I had created object. Next one E1 dot get data table. So this is the method. And here I'm giving blanks. And the entire data it is coming into this object. So here I have to specify my Excel file path and sheet name. Okay, so let's give Excel file path and sheet name. So the same line I'm copying Control C and I'm pasting. Right. So this time, what are the variables I want to fetch from the Excel? Okay, let's open this Excel. Which test case ID I want to retrieve? TC03 because username, password, and nationality text. Okay, so let's go back to that one. Okay, so I'm taking these variables, Control C, coming back to here. One second. Control C, Control V. So in the Excel, nationality text, right? So this is the parameter name. Control C. So that is the parameter name I'm specifying here. And test case ID TC03. All right. And what is the global variable? This one. Okay, I'm specifying global variable. Got the point? And my input values are ready and it is being executed. Okay. So let's, what is the nationality text here? Indian 123 record it has to create. Okay, let's run add nationality test ng class. So take the previous project and rename it and import that project and try to do this exercise. What happened? Key should not be a not null. Key should send at which line it is showing. Username, password. Test data 1. PC03. Username and password. Password is this one only.
W is capital.
Right. Parameter name. Okay. Parameter name I had given. So ensure you are giving correct parameter names. So I'm giving wrong. So in the test case Excel, whatever parameter name is there, how to give exact parameter. So tomorrow is the last topic on hybrid framework. Okay. So in tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss reporting part. Okay. In the reporting part, how to implement reporting part in hybrid framework, we can discuss in tomorrow's class. So now the test has been created and nationality text. So what is the nationality? Indian 123 record has been created. Now let's go and check Indian 144. So I'm saving and I'm going to execute my program this time. So it has to create Indian 144. Just observe the execution. So in the real time, the input data always we will retrieve from Excel only, not in the programming part. Okay. This is the actual implementation companies will follow. Okay, right. Okay, let me share this project. Orange HRM 117. So take the previous project Orange HRM 116 and rename it to 118 and import and do the exercises, whatever labs that I did, same labs you can complete it by today. And tomorrow we can finish a reporting part. Okay. So Madhu will continue simple other topics. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Or I will only continue. Just a minute. Orange HRM 117. Copy. Okay, in D drive, I'm already having Orange HRM 117. Send to compressed zip folder. Let me share this project folder. Orange HRM 117. Right. You can try to import this project and execute the programs. And before executing, make sure the Excel file path you had updated in your programs. Okay. So how to get the Excel file path? Just you can check. You can modify your Excel file path. So test data 1.xls. So just right click on properties and change this path. Might be this folder test 1.xls. It could be in C drive or D drive or E drive. Just take this path and change it before executing your program. Copy and change, replace this path in your system. Okay, because it is being retrieving from this folder location. Okay, right. Okay, now we understood how to Orange HRM 117. Okay. So and we understood hybrid framework part 2, part 3. Okay. So first, second class we discussed parameterization, and third class we discussed today's class we discussed about how to retrieve input data. So tomorrow's class is reporting. So that is the final topic on hybrid framework. Okay. So now let's go to the other labs, simple labs. Orange HRM 11. We have some other labs. So I'm not taking reporting part. If I will tell all the topics, it will get confused. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you some other labs. So here I'm having 3 test cases. How many test cases I have? 3 test cases. I want to execute all these 3 test cases at a time. What's the point? So So testng.xml ela generate ayadi. Okay. Guys, tell me how to generate testng.xml for this testng class. Right click, testng, convert to testng. Okay, I can browse where I want to generate. So my project name is Orange HRM 117. Okay, under SRC test Java. So under test cases. Okay, because Excel little pages test case. So I want to generate my testng.xml here. Okay. So here what I am doing is I am selecting parallel is equal to classes. Thread count is equal to I am selecting 4. Okay, I'm selecting parallel is equal to classes, thread count is equal to 4 I am giving. And I'm clicking on next. And I'm clicking on finish. See, my testng.xml was generated. So like this, my testng.xml was generated. And here at the suite level, thread count is equal to 4 and parallel is equal to classes. It has been came automatically. So what, and at the test level also it has been populated automatically. What I'm doing is I'm removing at the test level. Okay. So my test cases package folder, it contains TC01 add skills. So let me add one more test engine. So I'm taking Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. What is this TC01 add nationality? So just to select this testng class and press F2 button. So I'm pressing F2 button and I'm taking the testng class name as copy and I'm renaming it to here. Okay. And similarly for TC01 add jobs, F2, Control C, and I am changing into here. Because my test cases package name it contains, these are the testng class files. So if I will right click on my testng.xml and do